This week's parsha is the most important parsha in the entire Torah. You may ask, why is this week's parsha the most important in the entire Torah? Well, let me tell you. Parshat Tzav shifts from the offerings themselves to the role the Kohanim are to play. We read about their role in the elevation offering and the meal offering, the guilt offering and the sin offering. We learn about koshering vessels, and we read about the consecration ceremony for Aaron and his sons. But none of that is why this is the most important parsha in the Torah. The reason this is the most important parsha is because it teaches us three important lessons about life. Lesson number one. In the first 4 verses of this week's parsha, we read about how the Olah offering was left burning all night, and that the first task the Kohanim would perform each morning was to collect all the ash from the previous day's offerings, don a special garment, and remove the ash to outside of the camp. Now maybe the Torah is telling us that taking out the garbage is really a particularly holy task. Try that on your kids next time they raise a fuss about taking the garbage out. But maybe the Torah is teaching us something deeper. There was a very particular way of taking out the ash. It wasn't just swept up and dumped outside of the camp. It was first collected, then put beside the altar, then taken out, and only then was the altar ready for the next day's sacrifices. Why? Because, says Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg, before we can start to offer the sacrifices of today, you need to pause and think about the sacrifices of yesterday. Every accomplishment we have, every battle we fight is built on top of the battles and accomplishments of the past. Stopping for a minute to reflect on yesterday before tackling today puts you in the right mindset. Lesson number 2. In the few verses following that, we read how the Kohen would kindle wood on the fire of the altar every morning, and that a permanent fire shall remain aflame on the altar, it shall not be extinguished. We get some more detail from Pirkei Avot. Chapter 5, verse 7 lists 10 miracles that were performed in the temple. Number 5 is that the rain never extinguished the fire on the altar. So the Torah tells us the fire shall remain aflame, and Pirkei Avot tells us about the miracle that even when it rained on the altar, the fire didn't go out. So here's the question. If Hashem is performing miracles to keep the fire of the altar burning, why couldn't the miracle have been that it never rained on the altar? We've all seen rainstorms where it's raining on one side of the road, but not the other. Why couldn't that have been the way Hashem miraculously keeps the fire burning? Why was the chosen miracle to allow it to rain on the altar, but that rain wouldn't extinguish the flame? According to Rav Druk, there's a powerful message here. We all have a fire burning within us, the fire of our passion, the fire of our soul, the fire of our Yiddishkeit. It might rain on our fire, but we can't ever let that fire go out. The notion that our fire will never be rained on is impossible. Our fire is rained upon all the time. We meet people who try to rain on our fire. There are life circumstances that try to rain on our fire. The lesson is not to live in hope that the rain will never fall on our fire, because of course it will. The lesson is to add wood to our fire every day so that the fire burns so powerfully that the rain can never extinguish it. Lesson number 3. Let's skip to the end of the parsha, chapter 8, verse 33. And you shall not go out of the door of the tent of meeting for 7 days until the days of your consecration are complete. Why were 7 days of preparation needed for Aaron to serve in the Mishkan? Rav Soloveitchik answers, Ein Kedusha Bli Hachana. There is no sanctity without preparation. Aaron's serving as the Kohen Gadol is the most holy of service and required preparation. The same is true for us right now. You find article after article in the Jewish press about how people crave spirituality but are not finding it in their synagogues. But if you expect to walk into shul once a week and get smacked in the face with a wave of spirituality, you're misunderstanding the nature of spirituality. If you want a holy experience when you come to shul on Shabbat, you need to spend the week preparing yourself to receive it. Ein Kedusha Bli Hachana. There is no spirituality without preparation. Attend a class. Learn a little Jewish wisdom. Immerse yourself in some Jewish art or Jewish music. Engage in a little Jewish meditation. listen to a Jewish podcast, watch a video Devar Torah, perhaps this one. The options are endless. Find the preparation that elevates your soul, and you'll find that the spirituality you were seeking may have been there all along. You just never noticed it. 3 life lessons in this week's parashah. Before we offer the sacrifices of today, we need to pause and think about the sacrifices of yesterday. Add wood to your fire every day so that your fire burns so strong that the rains of life can never extinguish it. And ein kedusha bli achana. There is no spirituality without preparation. All of that is one reason why this is the most important parsha in the entire Torah. But the other reason is that the most important piece of Torah is whatever piece of Torah you have in front of you right now. Shabbat Shalom and Am Yisroel Chai.